Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love. Beyond.
Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond.
Welcome to Bed, Love, Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, relationships, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love like us. I'm Miss April.
I'm Jen. What's going on, people?
This is episode 147. 147, Stigmata, dating someone with a mark of shame.
That was a good movie.
It was, but I only seen it once, but I remember it being interesting. I don't really remember.
What's her name? Patricia Arquette. Yeah.
Yes, Patricia.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Because she doesn't look like that anymore.
No. But I think she was the one that made the statement that she can't get a agent because she outed Weinstein.
Oh.
She said, I can't get an agent.
I know she was talking something about one of those same thing. Award shows, something about
she made this speech.
The time clocks and punching in and punching out and something, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
I think she threw some equal pay talk in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's got, I mean, if you can't get an agent, you're somewhat blacklisted.
Yeah. But she just did the goddamn, I forgot what it was called. It only got like a award. That's what she got the award for. That shit, the movie on HBO, the series on HBO about the guys who broke out of jail. She did a really good job. She looked like shit. I mean, she was on SVU a couple times too. As a hoe, whore, prostitute, hooker, whatever. So, anything new on the what's it called? Daily Dish side of life?
Daily Dish. No, just I'm excited that my vacation time has been approved.
Finally.
I am officially going on my cruise.
Yes.
And what else? That's it on the Daily Dish.
Do we dare touch on leaving Neverland?
We can.
Because, I mean, we did the whole R. Kelly situation.
Yeah, leaving. Yeah. I leaving Netherlands, and I guess these are the high profile cases. I mean, I get that the Catholic Church is really big in this sexual assault, molestation stuff, but honestly, can you name one priest off the list of priests in New Jersey? Because I can't.
I didn't know any of them. I was looking for my priest. I was like, oh, is that fucker on there? Because he was always like, oh, he's like, ask your son if he wants to come on the field trip. My mom's like, what about my daughter?
Right. Nah, she good.
Oh, funniest thing. So we're sitting at dinner. I turned 40 on Monday. Yay. And we're sitting at dinner, and my mom's like, do you think Michael did it? I was like, Mom, I really don't know. I think he was sick, but I really don't know. And I also really just don't want to think about it because, like, I love Michael Jackson. And I know how these R. Kelly fans feel now because I'm like, no, he didn't do it. But I'm not sure if he did it or not. And because there's no way to actually prove it. Like with R. Kelly, I feel like we have videos. We've seen him do these things, you know.
And R. Kelly putting the shit in music.
Right. He's not really denying it. He's just saying, like, he's skirting around it. Anyway.
Michael Jackson, R. Kelly I think R. Kelly has always just been R&B sexy singer.
Right.
Whatever he's done outwardly to help people, I mean, I know some people don't publicize what they do, like charity-wise or whatever.
I don't think he's done anything.
But
I mean, I believe I
nothing.
Can fly. Like,
you know what I mean? Like when you look at Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson was
giving all the time.
80% philanthropy, 20% music. If you ask me, it was always about what he was doing for.
Right. So
I mean, he put that image out there, and I think that adds to being hard to
make decisions. So you know, we were talking about it, and I said to my mom, I was like, if we were little, and as much as we loved Michael Jackson back then, he was a big staple in our house. I had the glove, had all the albums. I was like, would you have let Jason stay there? She's like, yeah. I was like, see?
But I can't see, like, I can see your mom being like, Safe Chuck's mom. Your mother been like, come on in, Mike, have some meatballs.
Right.
But if he would have been like, can Jason sleep in my room? I think your mother been like, I don't know. Nah, bruh. Jason can sleep over here, and in the morning, y'all can go over to see the giraffes, but he ain't going to. That would have just, it feels weird to me.
Right.
Like, I think something would have sent your mom into like weird mode.
I think
like,
so.
nah.
I hope so. Then I had to remind her of the time that my brother almost got kidnapped in Bamberger's.
Mm-hmm.
So that someone stole her purse or whatever.
Because I can hear your mom like, what the fuck is the door locked for?
Right.
Jace, bang, 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 bang. Like,
that's my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on in there? Like, your mother would have turned super Italian if that goddamn door was
locked. Would you have let Jason go? She's like, yeah, I would have. My brother's like, what the fuck? I was like, and he's like sitting there, he's like shaking his head. He's like, why, Mom? Why? I was like, being honest, Jay. I'm like, we were dying. I was just like, oh, see, I kind of get it. Like, back then, I think you were more worried about your kid getting kidnapped than sexually assaulted. I feel like that was the thing to worry about with, like, especially with
the kid
John Walsh's
kidnapped.
kid,
right.
Adam, who got kidnapped in Florida and stuff. Like, I think that
and
was
then
like
back then it was Elvis, the Beatles, Michael Jackson. Nobody else was that big.
Right.
Elvis, the Beatles, and Michael Jackson. That was the three biggest superstar people.
And that's the thing. Like, my opinion is I'm not going to mute Michael Jackson. It's just my opinion. I'm not because I'm not saying I'm like blasting Michael all day. I'm just not going to do it because I don't know what the truth is. And I feel like it's maybe probable, but I don't know. You keep hearing different sides of things and it does like weird me out a little bit that like I get the whole like things are suppressed and it comes up later in time. But, you know, it's like, oh, as soon as you heard somebody else say it, then that's when you, well, this is in reference to Wade Ropes and his dancer. Like, as soon as you heard Safe Chuck come out and say it, then you were like, oh, maybe I should say something. That happened to me, too. Like, really? Is that how it happened? Because, I don't know.
Right. And I think, too, I mean, just like anything else, the people would say, oh, why did a documentary have to come out? Well, because people can put a face with a name. And people sitting there looking at somebody telling their story is different from you seeing it written in print. It's different from you hearing hearsay or what the trial might have said or who might have testified. I never knew Lisa Van Allen testified. I never knew what happened at R. Kelly's trial.
Right.
I never heard anything about it. I just know he was not guilty. I don't remember hearing any details about. And one juror got, and I think people just looking at the girl's story, but people are not looking at the comedian Lil Rel was on Breakfast Club. Lil Rel said he told a girl on the set of the Trapped in the Closet video not to talk to him. And she said, I'm sorry, my boss said I can't talk to you anymore. Like, there's people around these girls corroborating their story.
Right.
It's not just them. And I think when people say mute R. Kelly or mute Michael Jackson, it's about the radio play.
Right.
It's about downloads and streams. If you play it in your car, play it in your house on your iPod, that's your business. But I think when they saying mute, it's like stop supporting this person publicly and
at
making
this point,
them money.
Though, Michael's money isn't going to Michael. Like,
right, he's dead, so it don't count for him.
And so, like, part of me feels like, why should we punish his kids? Like,
right, that money's going to his estate, and
right,
he's not benefiting from it.
He's
and
not like he's selling any albums either anymore.
Right, like I can see if they sing, you know, in R. Kelly's case, don't make him any money, break him because
yeah, of course,
yeah. But Michael Jackson
that's how
case,
he's keeping
Mike's
his
dead,
little brothel
so.
above water.
Right, Mike's dead in this case, so. But I think people too feel like people are saying you shouldn't be listening to these people in your house. Listen, you listen to these people, walk down the aisle to it if you want to. I mean, do what you want to do. They said Stevie Wonder molested somebody right now. I can't promise you they ain't gonna play Ribbon in the Sky when I'm walking down.
Oh, word. That's my jam.
You know what I mean?
That's my favorite, actually.
I can't say I'm not gonna still sing over. I used to be at 3 o'clock in the morning singing Overjoyed to my son, trying to get him to sleep. Listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I think people saying more so public support.
Right.
But people taking that as like, I saw somebody
I'm not going to mute Oprah either. I don't feel like what she did was wrong.
I thought she wasn't partial. She never once said she believed he did it or didn't do it. No,
she was just being a supporter.
She was talking about
victims.
Right.
And that's what I respect that.
And people didn't watch it. They just saw Oprah interviewed them and that's it.
That's it.
They didn't watch it. And Oprah said on there, I'm going to get it. And you're going to get it. We all going to get it. That's what she knows.
Right.
Oprah been in the game long enough to know she going to get teared down for that. But if you wasn't rocking with Oprah before, you ain't going to rock with her after this either.
Also, shout out to Oprah and Gail. It was like best friend goals that week.
Right.
They were like, just
I didn't think Gail came across impartial. I think she came at R. Kelly like, you did it, motherfucker. Why?
Right.
Talk.
Right.
Like, I don't think she was impartial at all.
When he said, Oh, when he said, she was like, why did you go to McDonald's when you know you're in this high profile case? And he's like, what's my favorite restaurant? He's like, the M in McDonald's stands for mom for me, because that's where I went with my mom. I was like, what the fuck? Stop talking now.
Stop the interview. Walk him out. Get him out of there.
Oh.
Whatever publicist you have,
fire his ass.
His publicist looks shady anyway. I don't know.
SNL did like a really funny skit. I thought that was good.
I feel like if you got a publicist that's not on the news in a suit, I just don't know. But his publicist, like, he just threw on a jacket and came down there. I don't know. Maybe a discount. But leaving Netherlands. I always thought, I could be remembering it wrong, but I could have sworn those kids issued a statement, came out and said their parents made them lie.
Right.
And that he paid the woman. I remember them saying he paid the woman because it would have been more to fight the case than to just settle with her.
Right.
Which, I don't know. You know, with rich people, sometimes they look rich and they live rich, but they don't have as much money as they seem like they have. But I don't know if I quite believe Mike ain't have enough money to fight that case. Mike had a lot of goddamn money, yo. If you got money for Neverland, you got money to go to court and fight the case.
Remember that thing with we said his name the other day when we were talking, the Indian dude who did the interview,
Martin Bashir.
Yeah, and he was like walking around some like high end store, and he's like, I want that, I want that. Mm-hmm. I feel like they said something about him like not necessarily having enough money or something, but I could be wrong.
To get stuff or get that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're just shopping and, but I mean,
like extra with it.
I don't know.
Now they're saying Michael abused Bubbles, and animal rights activists shouldn't listen to him. I'm just like, well, now I might be upset. But I was just like, no. I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
but it did make me feel like, for as good a litigator as Johnny Cochran was, if Johnny Cochran got OJ off,
right,
I feel like he told Mike to settle because he knew it wouldn't sound right in front of a jury. Whatever they would have heard, whatever he knew wouldn't have sound right. It doesn't sound right
talking about it. I let little boy sleep in my bed.
Right. Like, so imagine a jury that got to decide guilty or not guilty. I don't think Johnny Cochran felt like he could have persuaded them beyond a reasonable doubt that Mike was innocent. Well, if he told him to go ahead and pay.
Aaron Carter just came out. I don't know if he's a Backstreet Boy or a brother of a Backstreet Boy. He just came out talking about... he's like very upset at both of them. He's like, I knew them. I hung out with them at Michael's house. He's like, I was 15 and I was sleeping in Michael's bed. I'm just like, why did you think that was a good idea? But, you know, like the whole thing, he's like, you know, he was always very respectful with me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, a lot of these stories conflict. I listened to the Brandy Jackson interview. She kind of said she dated Wade and, you know, he never brought it up. And he was like, whatever with her, and she's like, my uncle was always making sure that he was very respectful to me, so I don't know why he's saying that he was telling him to hate women when he was the one who hooked us up. And I was just like, all these conflicting stories, I don't have enough evidence to like make an educated decision on it, so I'm not going to.
Right. I mean you could just be quiet, or you could defend your family member. I'm personally not gonna get up there and say my uncle was a child. I'm just not gonna say nothing.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Didn't LaToya say something?
LaToya did say something. She said he was a child molester.
Well, LaToya's a batch of crazy.
That's what, she came out. I don't know. It's because she had some kind of motive, because she felt, you know, black sheep, like she was the black sheep. But I don't know why LaToya came out and said that. But I know, you know, leaving Neverland did make people feel like he was guilty that didn't think he was guilty before.
I will tell you this. I definitely felt like I believed Safe Chuck more than I believed Wade Robeson.
Right, yeah.
I just felt like he was more genuine and like emotionally, like the same thing when you were watching the girls on the R. Kelly documentary, like their body language you could tell that they've gone through something. Wade, I wasn't buying it. I just wasn't. Yeah. I don't know.
And I think too, it's like, I don't know too many people or know people at all that hate their parents. And it would have to really, really be a disconnect. It would have to really be something awful between you and your mother for these two gentlemen mothers is going through it.
Right.
These ladies, they got issues with their family. Family ain't talking to them. Family mad at them because they put the kids in this position. And to put your mother through that for a lie, that's some fucked up shit.
It is.
Because, like, you got the whole family hating. You got them hating themselves.
Unless that's a lie. I don't know.
Unless they taking the brunt and taking it, the blame for them. But if you're not, if I'm not guaranteed, and even in this sense, I mean, I probably still wouldn't get on TV and say I put my kid in harm's way. But if you're not telling me you're guaranteed $100 million, I'm not getting up there saying I'd let you sleep in the bed with a predator,
right?
And or with a grown man, and left you in a bedroom in a house across the property with a grown man. If that's not what I did, if that's not true, I'm not. And I don't know if I'd say it for $100 million. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, to raise you your whole life and protect you your whole life and say I didn't. I don't know.
Her moral compass
I'd rather
is off
take
from
care
the
of
beginning.
you.
She left the bipolar daddy in Australia and just and left the son there with him and took the whole rest of the family and bounced.
Yeah.
Like, her moral compass was never really in the right place anyway. I don't know. So that was just my opinion on it. I mean, I know you watched it too, and I don't know.
And then everybody's lumping everybody together. Michael, MJ, and Weinstein, and the
priest.
Catholic priest, lumping everybody. Elvis, Jerry Lewis, and I'm just, you know what, guys? Listen, I'm sorry. I ain't worried about no dead people that parents gave them permission to marry these people. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe they were predators. Maybe they were child molesters. These people are so dead and decomposed and gone. I say it again. I'm worried about the motherfucker that's doing it.
Right.
Still doing it and targeted. Not only forget about, and I think it bothers me so much that people are focusing so much on the predators and not the people that was preyed on.
Right.
It bothers me to no end that you focus so much on, you know, they taking down black entertainers, they getting on MJ and R. Kelly, and they not talking about Elvis. And first of all, most of these documentaries do mention Elvis Presley and Jerry Lewis, for one. There are a lot of documentaries on Catholic Church. There's a whole movie about it starring Michael Keaton. I don't know where y'all been. They won all kind of Oscars for that. I watched it. It was a good movie, The Post, I think. There's all kind of shit on that. What's her name? Meryl Streep. Doubt. I don't know if it's a true story or not. It was goddamn priest. Philip Seymour Hoffman might have molested the boy. They don't know. Whole movie. Viola Davis, everybody won some shit. The whole movie. I don't know where you people been, but my thing is, you more worried about that shit than you worried about the fact that these people preyed on young girls.
Right.
You can think 14-year-olds know better. If you don't want to be concerned with the grown women that went with R. Kelly, that's fine. If you don't want to be concerned with them, I still feel bad for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're very broken inside if that's what you go looking for.
Right.
But the 14-year-old and the 15-year-olds and all that stuff, nah. Like I just don't like how people just don't care about them.
No.
And you can't just not care unless it's your daughter or your niece or your friend's daughter, or you can't not care unless it's your people. That's why they running amok, because nobody cares. They ain't touch my daughter, so yeah. But I mean, he's still doing it to somebody's daughter. It's somebody's daughter.
And who are these women bailing him the fuck out?
I don't know. Somebody said they think it's his money that he put in somebody else's name, that he got in. I don't know. But when did he have time to do that?
He just said he went to the bank for the first time by himself.
Right. Or he has the money and said, I guarantee you I have the money, I'll pay you back. Right. And somebody showed them proof that he had the money.
I don't know. Either way.
That he could or they wired it from some dummy account.
I know they were like trying to do GoFundMe's. I'm like, what the fuck?
But if I'm a business owner, I gotta know for sure you innocent before I put my name out there and I'm a business owner. My daycare, that's my livelihood. I'm not, it is what it is. I know you don't turn your back on your friends. If I know you innocent, I'll put myself out there. But the way that shit sound, I just, like Ricky Smiley say, these people didn't wake up one morning and decide to just lie on you.
Right.
And the media is just taking and running with what they know.
Media's like, oh, look. There's a video now of Michael and SafeCheck at a jewelry store.
I saw that.
I was like,
TMZ, of course.
And
TMZ so messy. They're like, he did buy him jewelry.
I'm like, what is it? I don't know. Whatever. I mean, listen. Let's not, it's a very important thing, but like Gabriel said, definitely don't lose focus of the victims. And there's other things going on in this country.
Like these bitches paying for their kids to be in college.
What?
That's another daily
Aunt
dish.
Becky, what the fuck, Aunt Becky?
And then people saying, why is this? I see a lot of why is this news? We all know rich people do it. And my thing is, you know why it's news? Because they got fucking caught. And good. Because like what came out, there's a mom in jail that used her father's address so her kid can go to a better school. She did not pay nobody to take her kid's tests. She did not pay anybody to get her kid in that school. She just simply used her father's address. She got charged with a felony and put in jail.
Damn.
I say these rich people be splattered all across the news. You've been paying for your kid to be in fancy private schools their whole life. If you're not ready for Harvard after you've been in fancy schools your whole life, then you ain't Harvard material.
And her daughter is a see you next Tuesday because she's like a YouTube star or something. She got cut from Sephora, good. And she's a YouTube star, and she's like, yeah, I really can't be bothered with school. What?
And was on the president of the college yacht when the mama got good.
But now your mom's going to jail. I'm very upset.
And everybody think they're going to pay their way out of it. Whatever. The fact of the matter is, I'm glad it's news. I said, and I put in a comment, I think under Yahoo, why is it news? Because some rich people got caught in their shit, and they should be splattered all over the news just like anybody else that commit a crime. That y'all be under here calling them animals and they savages and all this other stuff. So these people animals and savages too. And I don't care if they rich, they should be splattered all over the news for everybody to see.
Right.
And I very, very rarely try to call. I only try to call the radio to win shit. But I did try to call the radio to get in DJ Envy's ass the other morning when he was like, I would pay if my daughter had straight A's and she wasn't a good test taker. If your daughter wasn't a good, he was like, I'd pay the money. I'd do whatever for my kids. Listen,
oh my God.
If your daughter's not a good test taker, she probably don't got straight A's.
Right.
Because what about the test she been taking? SAT ain't the only test. And then Angela Yee was like, they have coaches. They have all kind of training, all kind of other things you could pay for to prepare your daughter.
Right.
For you could have a private tutor.
Take
you got that much money.
cell phone.
Right. You got that much money. You could get a private tutor and a private coach. And he was like, even with private tutors and private coaches, some kids. Okay, so what they going to do if you pay to get them into school, what they going to do at midterm? What if they have, everybody remember college, what do you have, a midterm that's 40% of your grade? You're not going to get no A. If you can't take tests and you can't take time tests.
Now he's on the next watch list.
Right. Then you're not going to get straight. You're probably not a straight A student if you're not good at test taking.
Right.
Because your test scores are going to bring your grade down. So you can't have one. And then I'm like, and he's always a proponent for his kids go to private school. Your kids go to all these fancy private schools. If you get to 12th grade and you've been in private school since you was 1, you're not Harvard, Yale, Princeton,
right.
USC, MIT. You're not that material. Go to Rutgers. I don't know. Go to. There's other good schools that's not Ivy League.
Right.
Go. Go to those schools.
And there's no point in going to an Ivy League school if it's not your passion.
Right.
You have to be going there.
Are you trying to be high up in corporate America? Are you trying to be a CEO?
Right.
Are you trying to be at the top 5% of the law firms that make the most money?
I don't think I would have gotten any better jobs if my degree was from NYU or from Rutgers.
It really depends on what you're going for. If you're trying to be the top Wall Street whatever, maybe you need to go to Harvard Business School.
Right.
If you're trying to be goddamn Barack Obama, maybe you need to be at Harvard Business School.
Right.
But if you're trying to be a teacher, just go
Montclair
anywhere. Go anywhere. And it's just like, that's not going to help your kid's life. It did not. What? And my thing is, too, what are they going to do when they get to the school and they're competing with the kids that got there on their own?
Yeah.
And then it brought up the topic of affirmative action because they're like, you think affirmative action was keeping your kid out of the school because of these quotas. Kids being kept out of schools, everybody buying the slots for their kids. So
that was SVU episode. Remember that she was sleeping with the dean? And you might have missed that season. Mm-hmm. She was sleeping with the dean, but he wasn't really the dean. It was like the janitor saying he was the dean. And then he got in trouble for being a fraud. And then And then I think the kid, her son, spoiler alert, her son ends up killing himself because he thought his mom was a whore or something. Maybe I'm mixing episodes up now. Maybe I don't remember. But whatever.
Forrest Gump, he was like, your mama sure do love you.
Exactly. She was like, oh, I thought I was sleeping with him because blah, 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 blah. And then she found out that it wasn't really him. And then she was like, you lied to me. Mm-hmm. And then they're saying that technically it's rape because he wasn't who he said he was. So he lied to her. So it was whatever. It was a whole episode about it. But
wow.
But that is not what we're talking about today.
Sure ain't.
We're talking about Dating someone with a mark of shame.
Or what society perceives as a mark of shame.
Have you ever dated someone with a mark of shame?
I dated somebody without a job.
I think I probably have too. And I've dated someone who lived with their parents.
But that was...
You guys know him.
But that was young. I was very young.
Right.
But some of the things on our little list here is like age specific.
Right. True.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it might not be a mark of shame to not have a job at 19
20,
or 20, but when you're 40, it kind of is.
But
Like,
to your parents, it might be. You know what I mean? Like the girl I work with, her boyfriend's like 20, and that's all her mom ever brings up is that he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a job. Like, you need to find a hardworking man. Like,
Right.
he should be coming to you. He should be giving you money, whatever.
But I mean, like, dating wise, if you're dating somebody and
Right.
you're 38 and the person says, I don't work.
So should we say like 30, like mid 30s and up, or?
I'd say 25 and up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because 26, you got to come up off your parents' medical insurance.
Right.
So, y'all lucky, because when I was at coming of age at 18,
Coming of age.
at I think 18 or 19, you was off unless you was enrolled in school.
Yeah, I think so too.
And every semester, I had to give my mother something to take to the human resources at her job, or else I would get cut off.
Yeah, I do.
Now it's 26 regardless. So y'all lucky. Like that, you damn near 30, still on your parents' insurance. That ain't bad. But I think once you get to that age, I mean, you know, and you don't have to listen to the government, but it's kind of the age where you should be kind of working a full-time job.
No, so the list that April came up with is no car, living with your parents, obese, abortion, someone who had an abortion, divorce, mental illness, unemployed at the moment, physical handicap, midgets. You had to put that in there. I was reading the list to Kathy. Kathy's like, "Do you feel triggered?" I was like, "Shut up." Dreadlocks, heavily tattooed, or a felon.
So let's start. So felon.
Okay.
So that on our society, having went to jail, you tell somebody somebody went to jail, people automatically think, oh my God, you're dating a criminal. People don't even ask you what for. Some people might, but some people just hear jail and like, oh my God, how could you date him?
So I found this article where this girl like wrote in to ask for advice. She didn't ask us for advice, but we're gonna read it. I'll just read it really quick anyway. She was like, I need help with this one. I'm in my late 20s and I'm a professional woman. I work in an extremely conservative arena and I have 2 master's degrees. Damn, in your late 20s? Bravo. I met a guy that is all over perfect, but he has a felony. He did 4 years hard time and he's still on probation. He is sweet, caring, funny, etc. But that past life of crime is turning me off. He's trying to get his life together, but every week there's some issue with him not paying his bills or his friends. He is 32 and back in school, but he's so rough around the edges. I'm afraid to bring him around my friends and professional colleagues. Also, his felony, maybe his, prevents me from having my gun in my house if he is there, and he cannot vote. He wants to get the felony erased, but it costs a lot of money that he does not have. I know I can find a guy without a felony, but I'm not a spring chicken. Do you guys think I should continue seeing him or stop before anyone gets hurt?
The most interesting thing I heard is, should I stop seeing him? I'm not a spring chicken.
Yeah.
That means she's staying with him because of her age.
She said she's late 20s. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she did. I don't know why she thinks she old, but that seems like whatever she feels about her age is part of the main reason. It doesn't seem like she's in love with him.
So somebody said, don't do it. Someone said, what did he do time for? Which I think is a valid question.
Right. Was he in there for murder? Or was he in there because he stole a car?
Right. Or was he like in the car with someone had weed and he got in trouble? He took
right,
a rap.
because he was in the car.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone said it doesn't cost a lot of money to have a felony sealed in most states, and to get his voting rights restored, there's usually a wait time. This person knows a lot about it. I don't think I could do it personally. If you're saying he's rough around the edges, I mean, she's like, what do you mean? It sounds like he still might have the propensity to do something criminal. If you're in your late 20s, that's not old. Don't waste your time on some dude who turns out to be a loser in the end.
Turns out just because he did that one.
Some girl said no, shake him fast and do a background check. Whoa.
Well, she already know what's in his background check.
And
I've heard records sealed. The I don't know if it's true, but the figure I heard was $3,500
To get a record sale.
And so when he say it's not a lot of money, it depends on, maybe it's not a lot of money to you, but $3,500 is a lot of money to somebody who probably don't have probably not making a decent salary.
Some girl said, "Girl, bye." Next one said, "You're gonna ruin your whole life for some felon dick, bitch, please."
and all this, and nobody knows why he was in there. All they saw was felon.
I know.
Nobody even, one person asked, but she didn't say why he was in there.
I don't know, and she hasn't I'm trying to see if she commented back to like say.
And she said hard time. Does that mean maximum security? Like,
I don't know.
What the hell's hard time? What's soft time?
Damn, they said either way, make him get HIV testing first.
Okay. They took it to another level.
I know. Oh my God.
Y'all should be getting tests whether you're a felon or not.
Right. So she didn't really reply.
But just for people saying felon made people say illicit HIV tests, all these other negative things come along with felon.
Right.
And then she's saying he can't vote, I can't have a gun, I can't have a. So the question is it worth it? I
don't care about having a gun in my house, but
if you did, you wouldn't be able to.
I would just be like, no. Like, I would look for someone else, because the truth of the matter is that it sounds like she has some low self-esteem. I don't know what the fuck she thinks mid-20s or late 20s is old. But I mean, it doesn't sound worth it. I don't care how great the dick is. I mean, for me,
and it doesn't sound like she's saying either he's a really great guy.
Well, she said he's perfect, but. And then,
okay.
Well, she's like, I think the beginning of it said like he's really great, but then he has money problems, which will get obnoxious after a while, because now you're a sugar mama. He's trying to go back to school, but there's always problems with him or his friends.
He's gonna have money problems because he probably can't
get a job.
Decent, or whatever job he get is like a low paying job because of the felony. But what if you say I'm gonna stick it out with the person until they can get it sealed or get it whatever taken off or.
Remember Daddy's Little Girls? That was called Daddy's Girls.
With
Daddy's
Idris?
Little Girls. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
With Idris, yes, I remember. I feel like that situation was a little different. Like he was kind of wrongfully. Was he wrongfully convicted, or
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I think
it's
like they said he raped a young girl.
Right,
an underage girl or something. And
yeah, because she said you didn't tell me.
Right.
I remember her saying you didn't tell me what you went to jail for, and he said I didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah. What if that's the case? I mean, what if he didn't do it?
Right.
Or what if nobody asked her that question? Is he guilty?
Yeah.
But having a felony, people assume. That's like when you found not guilty, the first thing out of people's mouth was he was found innocent. That don't mean he didn't do it.
Right.
And if you found guilty, don't mean you're not innocent.
R. Kelly.
Yeah. So it's like, that's another thing. What if something he said or whatever he said I didn't do this.
The fact that he's lost his voting rights and he can't be around a gun sounds suspect.
Well, just having a felony, you can't.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Yeah. I've never dated a felon. I don't think.
When you have a felony, some states you can regain your voting rights. Some, I guess, you can't.
Like when I was young, I dated guys who went to jail. I think they went to jail for child support after, but I think I've dated a guy who later went to jail for child support. I mean, I feel like that's not a huge deal.
Right.
No, it makes you kind of a dick. I don't think I would now.
Unless you went because you lost your job and you just couldn't pay.
Right.
Because even if you're unemployed, you still got to pay. They'll reduce it for you, but they reduce it to a minimum.
Right.
So because I remember, I know somebody was unemployed. It was reduced to $90 a week. But you still got to come up with $360 a week with no job.
Right.
So, I mean, a month, I'm sorry, you still got to come up with it. So, I think that's a hard one. I dated somebody who had one felony and then he did it again, sold drugs again, got caught again, went to jail. My thing, what I saw of him, he was a good person. Mm-hmm. He just was caught up in that fast money, but he would get up every day and go to work. Like he had that, he was smart enough to work.
Right.
And drive a normal car and live in a normal apartment. He was not living like a drug kingpin. He was not with jewelry and wads of
He was
cash
on some
and
ghost shit.
yeah, he was like, I was trying to make enough to invest in real estate and, you know, buy my mother a house. And I mean, he had realistic goals, but an unrealistic way of achieving them.
Right.
Because now you're going to jail. You can't do shit for your mother. So, you know.
So do you think, like, I mean, I know you were probably younger when you dated him, but, like, do you think in the long run you would have stayed if, like, things were different? Well, and I guess if whatever happened didn't happen, but, like, you're the reason why you guys separated. But do you think you would have stayed and, like...
I wouldn't have left because of I mean, the second time I'm like, all right, you got caught again. All right, that's your lifestyle, you know.
Right.
But like the first felony, I think I would have let it go because he did have a job. He wasn't a local, like a union.
Right.
He was making, you know, fairly good money, and he was on the right track. He didn't have any children. He didn't have any baby mama drama. He loved his mother. He, you know, he was very clean and clean physically and into health, and like he was a pretty well-rounded person.
Right.
So I probably would the reason I probably would have ended up breaking up with him, but it wouldn't have been the felony.
Okay.
It would have been the control issues.
Right.
But it wouldn't have been because of that, because he was living a normal, like trying to be a healthy lifestyle.
It's not like he had like fucking drug lords up in his house every night cutting coke and whatever.
Right. He was just very low key with it, which don't make it right. But I mean, but my thing is, okay, you got out, you got your life together, you fall back in it. All right, now you just fucking up.
I mean, my first like real boyfriend was a drug dealer. He just never did it in front of me. Obviously, he never even like smoked in front of me.
Right.
But I know that he was out on like 6th Ave and Patterson selling drugs to people. And hanging with like the girl from my school, her brother. Like they were in like some gang. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, oh, okay. Like I don't know them, they don't know me. We good.
I could have dealt with. I was young. That was, you know, my environment got me into that.
At
but
40,
right?
Nah, B.
Like if you still, you know, like, or if you've been in jail for this like 2-3 times now, and you know what I mean. It's like, all right, are you trying to get your life together? You just keep getting caught.
Right.
So at that point, it's like, all right, you know,
you're still trying to sell drugs and they ain't working out for you. Still trying to be a rapper.
Or you still out. Some people still out in bars getting drunk, having fights, got assault charges, or you know, like there's still some people still trying to drive without a license or driving drunk and getting like there's some states, I know Mississippi is one of them, 3 DUIs, a year in jail automatically.
I think it's New Jersey too. You lose your license for life
after 3.
I think so.
Because I know 3 can get you an interlock device and a suspended license, and
I know someone who has one.
And you can pay out a shitload of money and get your license back. But there's some states automatic year in jail. So it's like some people keep screwing up in that way. They putting out money to lawyers and whatever, but they not addressing the drinking.
So what would be your advice to someone under 25 or over 25 dating a felon?
I would suggest assess, did the person do it, first of all, or were they a victim of circumstance? Are they do you really see them focused on, yes, I have a felony, but I'm doing X, Y, and Z to fix my life? Like, I'm not still in that same path, whatever. Like, you know, I mean, not everybody is going through that because they're a felon. A lot of people are, but not there. It depends on the state you live in. Some states give felons their voting rights back.
Right.
So
I don't know why that was so important to her.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But
Patriot much? I don't know.
Yeah, but if you really see somebody, like, sometimes people, you know, there's people with felonies that's made it to law school and got their record cleaned off or whatever they did and got into some other thing and graduated from law school. So, you know, it really is a case-by-case situation. But I would say, you know, if you really found a really good person that's really good to you and you feel like I can work with this, and you really see the person changing their life around or trying to do better, or you believe they didn't do it. If they say they didn't do it, I say stick with the person, because you could find somebody with no felony that still treats you like shit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a good person. So just because they don't have no felony, they
don't think they should necessarily be judged by their past if their future is promising. Or maybe they've already like turned over a new leaf, you know?
Right.
Like, and they've got their shit together, and they said, by the way, FYI, I might come up on something.
Right.
But I used to be a felon.
But I feel
you might
like
wanna
too. I
know.
mean, if you feel like the person is rough around the edges and you can't take them around your friends and coworkers, that's another
Yeah.
thing to consider because that's gonna be an ongoing problem.
Right.
So,
But sometimes, like, especially at home, I love just referencing entertainment. In Daddy's Girls, like, she felt like her uppity friends wouldn't understand. Like, because he was, like, a mechanic and this and that. But, like, you know, the fact of the matter is that, one, you can't date for your friends or even your family, to be honest with you. It's my opinion. And if you think he was a good dude, like, they're going to eventually see what you see.
right.
You know, it's not going to be overnight, but, you know, they'll see what you see.
And if your friends, if you really love somebody and that person, I mean, this is me talking to a woman. I mean, I guess woman or man, if you really love somebody and that person is treating you like a princess or a king or a queen, and if your friends can't accept the fact that you're with this person because that person is not like them,
Right.
or don't live their lifestyle, or
may
don't
not be that good of a
or
friend.
don't have their income, then maybe you should reconsider your friends. And they're gonna say, "Oh, you stopped talking to us because of him," and you should make it clear, "No, I stopped talking to y'all because of y'all." Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not because of him. It's because y'all are judgmental, nasty creatures.
What's your name, Peach?
Oh God.
Yeah, you don't need any Peach friends.
Yeah, you don't need Peach. Watch You on Netflix or Lifetime or wherever.
What about heavily tattooed?
Not on the face and head and neck.
Yeah, I did. I think I pulled up an article about that, and I was like, "Would you date someone with a face tattoo?" I wouldn't.
Nah.
Yeah, look at these dudes. I don't know. They're fine, but
Not the face, head, and neck. If you could put on a collar, button-down shirt and go to work,
yeah.
and you good, then no, I'm good. I'm good with it. If you got them all over your eyelids, forehead, head, neck, ears, no. We're not doing that. We don't have. If you got Lil Wayne money, I mean, I don't want to go nowhere with your face tattooed anyway. I have no problems with tattoo. I have tattoos. I love tattoos. But do I think they should be on your face? No, I don't. I don't think they should be on your face and.
Someone's like, if it isn't ridiculous, sure. I don't know. But, I mean, like, Chris Brown could have got... I mean, Chris Brown still got it. But, I mean, like, after he did all that, I was like, up the neck. I'm just like, I don't know.
And you have to... If you're going to date some... I think if you're going to get your face tattooed... I mean, and even it's not so much about the money, but you better at least have $150 million minimum in cash, not assets, cash. If you're gonna, because what kind of job you gonna get like that? Who you gonna work for? Unless you own your own business.
So they took They took a survey, and 20% of females said they would. 27% of females said they would, and 14% of males said they would. This is out of 124 people, and 24% of females said maybe, 17% of males said maybe, 49% of females said nope, never, and 69% of males said nope, never. So it's mostly on the nope, never side. There's just small sliver of millennials that maybe, I don't know, that would accept it. I mean,
and I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind heavily tattooed as long as it's not going to impinge on you getting work.
Yeah, like sometimes the ones like on the back of the neck aren't so bad. I don't know.
But I mean, like I said, if you could put on a collar shirt, a long sleeve collar shirt, and
you can't be in the FBI, right? Is that true, or did I make that up?
Oh, if you got a lot of tattoos?
Okay, let's
I don't know.
Can you be in the FBI if you have tattoos?
You can barely get in the FBI without them.
Here's a summary from Quora. Yes,
you can have tattoos
if you work for the FBI. Since the FBI has no policy against tattoos, you are free to get one or several.
One or several.
But I'm sure you can't go to the FBI office with your face tattooed.
No, probably not. For some reason, I thought they weren't allowed to have them because they'd be like an identifying mark on the person. But again, I guess if it covers your shirt.
Most FBI agents wear suits.
I think same thing with cops. Like they have to be able to cover them with their shirt.
Yeah. So I mean, when people hear heavily tattooed, I don't think that's an issue unless you start talking about it so exposed that all over your hands, so exposed that you can't get no job.
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't date anyone with like knuckle tattoos. Or even like those full body legs where they do the blackout ink.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, tattoos are cool. I'm fine with them, but
Like I said, when it comes to face and neck, and I don't agree with that. You gotta be able to work. I'm sorry, you gotta be able to work and support yourself, support your family, and I just don't see that happening with all that.
Yeah. Dreadlocks. Yes. Yes, please.
Well, I have dreads, so I can't. I mean, I don't personally.
You were like, no, absolutely not.
I kinda, cause I don't, but not because society finds them. I just kind of don't prefer men that don't have long hair.
Okay.
So I prefer men with low cuts, but I wouldn't date men. I would not date you because of your dreadlocks. If I like you, I don't
Did
care.
you see Lord Jamar and Oz?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I would not date you because that wouldn't be a deal breaker.
I don't think Lord Jamar would date me because I'm white, but
you would be surprised.
no, he's like really like, like the white man. I'm like, okay, sorry.
You would be surprised.
I'm sure I would, because I had a friend in college, the one who called me and asked me for money that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had dreads. He grew dreads. I was like, all right, nice. You had cornrows in college, but you let them grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like he used to always be like, oh, I don't like white people, blah 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 blah. I'm like, we hooked up. Like what the fuck?
Exactly.
He's like, you cool though, Jen. I'm like, I bet. I mean, listen, I do have one thing about dreads. Like, remember we were in Florida and like the dudes in Florida like don't do their dreads.
They just sat at
They're
home
on that
and
Marley shit.
matted up their head themselves. Yeah.
That I'm like, but I saw this guy yesterday. He was an attractive dude, but his dreads were really, really nice. Like they were like so thin, and like the way he had them wrapped, I was like, holy shit! Like that looked like it took time, and they were just like so perfect and all even, and just like wrapped in like kind of like a knot, like around like down his neck or whatever. I was like, holy shit, that's nice. Like he took care of him, and that says something about a person. Not when they're just like all like wild.
And people gotta understand too. Like I mean, dreads are a hairstyle that can get frizzy like any other hair. Like you have a ponytail and your hair frizzy,
right? Just
a regular. And then you can have like Bob Marley style, which is a pop culture reference I can think of. Bob Marley Buju Rasta style dreads.
Although I kind of like Lenny Kravitz's.
But like people gotta think Bob Marley, Lenny Kravitz, these people are entertainers.
Yeah,
they're not going to 9-to-5 jobs.
No.
You're not walking. These people don't have to walk in an office with their dreads like that. These people on stage performing. Like they're entertainers, so it's different. When you have a 9-to-5 job, but I don't think people should be discriminated against them if their hair is washed and neat like anybody else.
Right.
I don't think, like, what if somebody that don't have dreads come to work with their hair greasy and dirty and not washed? What are you going to say to them? Like, so, and I think dreads and natural hairstyles in general for black people is discriminate. They just have a new newscaster that wore braids for the first, I don't know if she's the first newscaster that did it, but she the first one in the news for it. So I'm going to just go with the first one that wore braids. That's in 2019. Like, how long have people been wearing their hair braided? And I think it's Fox News. There's a guy that goes around on the street. They're interviewing people. He have long dreads. And they got some frizz to him. But he haven't pulled back. They not Bob Marley style. But they regular. They pulled back. He didn't go to the salon that day. I saw him on Fox News.
I think I know what you're talking about. He's cute.
And honestly, I was surprised to see him on Fox News. I was.
First of all, I think Fox 5 News is different from Fox News. I think they're maybe the same company, but like Good Day New York, he's on, right? Or
is it I think so.
Or he does the night Good Day New York. Not Good Day, he does the night news.
I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I can see where they would have more like the people stories. They don't go too much into the analyzing. Right, yeah. But I mean, just the fact that it's Fox and Fox is known for what they known for.
Right.
And he on there. I'm like, okay. I mean, not that maybe it ain't making no strides for the black community, but he on there with his dreadlocks. And, that's the point. And even, there's a girl that had like, a twist out. For those of you who don't know, a twist out is when, a black person with natural hair wets their hair, twists it, and they'll wake up in the morning possibly and take it out and it's like wavy. on the news. One lady, people showing up on the red carpet with their hair like that.
Right.
It's news. Viola Davis or Jennifer Lewis showing up with their fros out. It's people talk about it because, people of color have always been, even, Latina women or women who have like naturally curly hair. Some, Hispanic, Latina actresses or whatever, or black actresses that have curly hair have always been encouraged, news anchors, all these people, to blow dry their hair straight to look more European. So to meet European standards of beauty, very, very straight hair, whether it's chemically straightened or flat ironed or hair blow dried out, whatever. People have not been encouraged to have their hair kinky or curly or frizzy, or it's always have to be straight and shiny. So
we're trying to look up the guy. I can't find him.
Somebody wearing their hair natural could be, kind
Now,
of a mark of shame.
Did they vote against that you can't discriminate anymore, right?
I think you can. I think it depends on where you are. Like, there's a whole campaign. I had put like a link that New York City itself, I guess, in the 5 boroughs,
You can't.
are against it, and they have a campaign going that you can't. Like, the mayor's wife has dreads. He ain't got no choice. Like, he would be a bit of a hypocrite if he supported that,
right?
So, but they have a campaign going where they trying to make, like, I guess, work Manhattan, all these places aware that you really shouldn't be like, you want to hire people on the merits of their experience, their education, how well they do in an interview, like anybody else. Like, whether a person has dreads or their hair doesn't look like European people hair.
Zachary Quiche, is that him?
Looks like him. Yeah.
He's on ABC News now.
Good.
Good for him.
They probably want him to cut his dreads, goddamn Fox. But
goddamn Fox.
And the lawsuit came from a girl who went to get a job and was given the job, then told she needed to cut her dreadlocks to actually have the job. I heard a story once of a guy who started off as a FedEx delivery man, got a degree, got a job for FedEx corporate, and was told he had to cut his locks.
Damn.
And his locks weren't Rasta style locks. They were neat, washed, pulled back locks. And he made the decision to cut them because he had 2 children, and his children had school tuition, and
right,
he had a mortgage, and I guess it was a big, you got student loans, you got bills, and he, but he wasn't happy about it. It didn't make him happy, but I guess, in his mind, I'm doing it for my children, and to my children have a better life, to make more money. So he did it. But I don't think he felt good about it.
Right.
And it doesn't make you feel good because, people can say, I'm not my hair, I'm not the way I look, I'm not which is true in a way. But sometimes things are reflective of who we are. We're not our clothes either, but how we dress is reflective of who we are.
Right.
Our clothes don't mean shit. It's just clothes. But when you go buy something, that's your style. Like, that's, it's who you are when you dress a certain way. So, but it is, I don't think some people understand, because some people don't understand things outside of the scope of their own life. So if you never dated a person of color, a Latino person, a Hispanic person that has kinky hair, some people be like, what's the big deal? What is going on? What,
Right.
But corporate America has a look. And no matter how educated or smart or what school you went to, you could go to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton all day. You woke up in there with some cornrows or some dreads or some kind of kinky fro, you might not necessarily get the job.
Hopefully that starts to change. Are
you qualified? That's all I want to. And then
right.
The thing is too, you go into a firm or some kind of place that does a lot of business with the top 2%, with the waspiest of waspiest companies and people that invest millions upon millions of dollars with them. They want you to look and act how these people want you to look and act so they can get their money. So, I guess too, watch where you going to get jobs. Expect it. you kind of got to expect it. Not to say don't go on the interview, but don't be surprised. Maybe go where you want it. Go to a more boutique firm. Go somewhere that's a little more, open-minded. Because you go to the, old boys down on Wall Street, they still stuck in that mentality. So you got to kind of watch,
What is the next one? Handicap.
Physical handicap.
Never have.
Being a midget is it's kind of a physical handicap.
I mean, little people.
You can still work and you still have a
cold.
job, but I mean, let's be honest here.
Some people I think it's more of a fetish. No, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Although I found out it was 4'9" at the doctor's yesterday. I was a little upset. She's like 4'9". I was like, do it again. She was like, maybe 4'10". I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, oh, am I shrinking already? So I pulled up an article about dating someone with a disability, and they said to treat them normally. Please don't get weird. Realize your own able-bodied privileges. Show active engagement in a disability, rights and awareness. And fighting ableism or dating us doesn't get you a cookie. Trust us to tell you what is good for us and what we need. Mm-hmm. And get ready because we'll need your help. And your sex life is going to be fine. In fact, it's going to be great.
And I would say a midget is not a physical disability, more so physical limitations.
Right.
Not disability. They're not disabled. It's just limitations because of the size.
So just because we can't do something doesn't mean we don't want to. Strategize the best way to use individual strengths. And finally, how to break up with someone. I know it's depressing as hell, but I watch too many bad breakups and divorces to let people hit the same rocks. Generally, the rules of breakup, stay silent, be honest and prompt about your feelings, employ as little contact as possible, put things in a box, stay amicable, and if you can, avoid common places for the time being. Whoa, that's a lot of rules. So I know my brother said he went on a blind date once with a girl who only had one hand. There's a guy at Chit Chat Diner who only has one hand. Me and Kathy think that he lost it in war. We're not really sure, but he is sharp and he is fine. And
he works there.
He usually does like the cashier, the phones, and then seating people. But he always wears like this nice button-down shirt with the cuff like right around his nub. So cute though. Very good-looking dude. I don't know. Maybe he didn't lose it in war. Maybe let's hope it wasn't diabetes or something. Yeah. But he's sharp. He's fine. Like I don't think I would. I don't think that I would be like whatever.
Like you don't think you'd turn him down if he asked you?
No. Mm-mm.
What about a wheelchair?
I don't know. I watch Mom. And I think that's cool that they have that on TV. She dates like Allison Janney dates like a stunt guy. I forget the guy's name. He's a famous actor. And he used to be a stunt guy, and he like lost his ability to move. But they still have sex and stuff. But I guess she has to help him into bed. They don't show that part. I don't know if I would.
But I mean, yeah. Well, and I think it's different if you already with the person and something happened,
right? Or
you meet the person.
Well, yeah, she met him. She met him like that. But I mean.
Because in one, you kind of have a choice, and then the other one, not that you don't, you can still walk away. But I mean, if you married to somebody and they end up falling off a horse or something.
Well, look, my boyfriend told me a story about he knew this like lesbian couple who were married, they fell in love, blah blah blah, and the girl got into a car accident, and now she's like disabled, and like the girl left her or whatever. That's really fucked up. I mean, it's hard. Yeah. It is hard. I'm assuming, but I mean, I don't know if I would. I think it would depend on, whatever. I mean, I don't know if I can like lift your wheelchair. I don't know how good I'm going to be for you. I have my own disabilities. So like 4'9".
That is I wouldn't, because I just, like if we already together, we already married, or we already been together for years, and something happened to you, it's different. But like my choice to go into a relationship with you with being paralyzed or like I wouldn't, because, there's things I want to do in life that, right. There are limitations to what you can do, and I don't, I want to limit myself, but like I also don't think you shouldn't be with somebody.
Right.
I don't think that should. That just mean me personally.
Those videos of like the women who like are helping their now disabled men like through therapy and vice versa, the guys who do it for their wives or whatever. Like, right. Those are like so heart touching. Like I'm just like, damn, like. That's amazing that there's people like that out there. And I mean, again, like you said, if it was something that happened, God forbid, to like my current situation, of course I'd stay there and I'd do whatever I can. But going into a situation like that, I don't know. The hand thing, maybe. I don't know. There was this lady at a daycare, like she works there. She does her like she's a nurse, but she's got one of those little hands, and I was like, oh, cool.
Prosthetic limb.
No.
No, I mean I'm asking you. Prosthetic. Somebody had a prosthetic leg. Or...
Yeah, maybe.
Dude on The Punisher was kicking ass with his prosthetic. The boy pulled it off and beat him with it, but
I mean,
before that,
if it's good enough for Lucius Lyon, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it would depend on the personality. Like, I would hope they'd be upfront and say something like right away. But like a prosthetic like leg, I mean,
yeah,
you could still like do pretty much.
And
they're
some
teaching
people, like you said, their personality and their mentality is, this is my arm. And they just keep going.
I mean, Oscar Pistorius shot bitches, so I mean, and he had clink clink over there.
With a little tink tink.
It's so funny. It's so wrong. Gotta watch Cat Williams. Poor little tink tink.
So yeah, I guess it depends on the physical handicap, what you feel like you can deal with and not
Midgets?
deal with.
Nah, I'm good, B.
Yeah, I wouldn't date a man. I wouldn't date a man 5'8". Fuck you talking about? I'm like, nah, bro, you damn near midget. So, no.
Unemployed at the moment.
Like I said, that's age appropriate. And not that you should be running around here 22 unemployed. I'm just saying you got a good chance of still being with your parents at that age. You're not like married or out here looking for love unemployed. But it depends to me on if you have a work history.
Yeah.
If you have an extensive work history and you happen to be laid off or unemployed at the moment, I'll work with you, especially if I see you actively looking for work. Like I know you going on interviews,
you
sending out your resume.
Playing PlayStation, nah.
Right. Turning into an incel. But if you just unemployed and mooching off people, I'm sorry.
Same difference.
Yeah. I mean, no. But if you're actively looking for employment, like I saw a woman she wrote like an editorial or whatever about how she met somebody unemployed and she had like a high paying job and she took a chance on him anyway. And then he ended up like getting his dream job and she ended up like engaged to him, stayed with him, and he got his dream job and and people are still in the comments like, oh, you just hard up for a man. Oh, you just, you should have kept it moving. Oh, you just need a man so bad that you'll be with a man unemployed. And
this
just
article,
like, but she said the man got a job.
This article on babe.net said that the burden of dating someone who's unemployed is every time you talk about your own personal success, that he made her feel bad. And that sometimes men can feel emasculated when a woman is like doing better than he is. Oh, this is for women to men. An imbalance can lead to internalized resentments, which I believe is true. And when it happens, what happens when you're the one, or you're the unemployed one? I guess it's like for women. And start praising women instead of punishing them. I'm not really sure what that's about. But they reference in the picture Issa and
Daniel.
No, not Daniel.
Damn,
it's been too long.
Lawrence,
yes. Because he was kind of like unsure of what he wanted to do in the beginning, and now he has a really good job.
Right.
Which does make somebody more attractive. I didn't realize.
And at the bottom line is Lawrence should have been at Best Buy until he got that app making job.
Right.
Because it, and I think Issa
had a great job, but
oh my God, that job. It's not like they were that like the resentment and the you make more than me, that's not even about the unemployment. That's something
that could be.
That's the person.
Employed, yeah,
that's the person. Because you could the person could have a job, and like there's some men don't want you to make $5,000 more than them because that's a problem. They want to make more than you, period, or else they feel like, oh well. And it's not you thinking you're better than them. It's them thinking you're better than them.
Right.
So that's your problem. That's not
necessarily
the person's problem. Yeah.
I said to my boyfriend once, I don't even know why it came up. I said something to him like in reference, like, I'm like, aren't you glad like I have a good job and you have a good job? Like we're okay. And he was like, oh, I was talking about that with my friends at work. I was like, why? And he was just like, no. He's like, I've never really dated anyone who was like had things like going for themselves. Like I'm like, okay, so it's a personal problem. But like, I guess like his ex-girlfriend had a job, but like, you know, did whatever she could to make ends meet. Like, I don't think she ever like furthered her education or whatever, and that's fine. That's whatever works for her.
Yeah.
But he said like he noticed that it makes like a difference for him. Like he doesn't feel so much stress, you know. I mean, we're just a single couple. We don't have any children. Once we have children, then we're both going to probably feel the pressures of how do we pay for all this shit. But, you know, he's like, he doesn't feel like any of the stress of like, oh, I have to cover her all the time. Or, you know, sometimes I can cover him and it works out that way. So I didn't realize it was something that guys actually thought about, but apparently it is.
And I've been seeing, I saw an interesting meme the other day, because you see some memes that are like, oh, or post or whatever, where a girl's talking about how much her hair and nails and all this costs, and you know, guy having, or people, I think people see a lot of I think celebrities put in their life out there, like on social media, got people fucked up and think that their partner's supposed to, women thinking their man's supposed to do these things because Kanye did it for Kim, or this celebrity did it for this person. But the fact of the matter is, like, in today's economy, people want you to be able to support yourself. It's not 1955 anymore. And it's like, and it's not to say that your man doesn't want to buy you something, or he doesn't want to, but this whole notion of, because you're the man, you put out more money, you know, that mentality is getting a little antiquated. Like people gotta, like, I saw a meme that was like, it said, my hair costs this, my nails cost this, and in my relationship he has to give me $0 because I take care of myself. And basically it's saying you don't have to give it to me. If you say, hey, I gotta, here's $100, go get yourself whatever, as opposed to, my hair costs this and that, and my nails and my whatever other stuff, and you're my man, so you have to pay for it. It's different from, you have to, I expect you to, and if you want to. It's two different things. And I think people are kind of moving in that direction now, because women can't, I mean, I don't think they should always be connected, but at the same time, you know, to say we deserve equal pay, and we deserve to be respected, and women deserve to be treated a certain way, you can't then go leaning on a man like you can't take care of yourself. You know, you can't say one thing and then, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say all these things and then, you know, expect to sit around and be taken care of and not have your own stuff going on.
Right. Mental illness. I can deal with depression. That's not debilitating. And as terrible as it sounds as a mental health professional, I don't know that if I got into a relationship with someone and they had something severe or one of the access twos, personality disorders, I don't know that I could roll with it. I just don't think I could. Even addiction, I couldn't. That's just my personal opinion. For some people, you could do it. It's fine, but anything that like you lose your own sanity over isn't worth it. And I'm not saying that these people don't deserve love, but sometimes like those addicts find each other at meetings because they know how to deal with each other.
Right.
You know, and people.
That's why they counselors too. Because they know. Yeah.
And sometimes, like, I don't know, you have to decide what's best for you. And, you know, I know a lot of people get caught up in the like, you know, well, there was good times. I'm sure there was. But, you know, when bipolar rears its ugly head or whatever it is, like, there's sometimes really, really bad times.
And it kind of, it's probably gonna be a lot of moments where it never feels like it's about you. Right. It's never about you.
Oh, it's especially always if you're a narcissist.
Yeah,
it's definitely never about
because
you.
sometimes people don't. Sometimes people have more than one diagnosis. Right. Like sometimes people behavior is what it is because it's not just one thing. Right. It's you know, so.
And I'm not saying if you have bipolar or you have schizophrenia or any of these diagnoses that you don't deserve love. It's just I know personally like what my tolerance is, and like sometimes people know like my friends, I don't remember exactly what her diagnosis is, but she knows that she's toxic in her relationship. And sometimes she's changed her phone number like 15 times because she's like, I don't want to talk to him. But then like the next day she'll call him. I'm like, dude, if you really need space because you know you're being toxic, like don't call. Like
Right.
She knows she is. She knows that she gets in her head and she starts thinking things and starts like attacking him. But like, it's a compulsion. She can't stop it. And both of them are kind of like that, so they keep doing it back and forth to each other, and they keep accepting it. And it's just like, you sit back and look at the relationship and you're just like, whoa, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't be accused of things all the time because you have these like deep-seated like OCD insecurities, and it's just not for everyone. I mean,
and some people need lifelong therapy, like, or you need to take whatever tools you weren't learning therapy and work really hard at them. Because what happens is you stop working hard at it. It's just like having a healthy diet.
right.
Like, you eat shitty, your body gonna feel shitty. And it's the same thing with mental illness. If you don't take in good stuff and do what your mental illness needs to be on the right track, you're gonna be off track. You're gonna be crazy.
I think
you're gonna be out of control.
I think that's something that would make a big difference for me. Like, somebody might have something like depression or anxiety or, even maybe bipolar. And if they're actively taking the steps and sticking with it and been sticking with it, I know there's always highs and lows. That might be something that would sway me in a different direction, possibly. Like if people are proactively doing things to better their life. Like, I know I'm bipolar, so I know I should stay away from drugs and alcohol because that, that definitely fucks me up.
Right.
I'm going to keep taking my meds even when on the days where I feel better. I'm going to go to therapy. I might have some really off days, but I want to work really hard at having more better days. That's a different story, but we're also jaded mental health workers. So,
Right.
You don't I'm not, because I know somebody might be like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. But
like you said, we're not saying that you shouldn't be with people in a relationship, but you also got to really, really be in tune with your illness and what you got to do to keep it under control,
right,
before you go into a relationship, because it's gonna be fucked up. Like,
right,
if you're not taking no medication, and you're not, some things you need medication. That's the bottom line. Just like people with diabetes, high blood pressure need medication. Is some mental illness you need medication. Is some mental illnesses you can take a deep breath, do yoga, and you come out of it all right. But there's also some you need to go to therapy and you need medication. You have a physiological imbalance, a biological imbalance, chemical imbalance in your brain, and you need medicine to help you balance it. That's the bottom line. People telling you don't need medicine probably don't live with you. So be careful with that. But there's certain things you need you absolutely need medication. If you decide not to take it, and every day with you is a roller coaster ride, you have no business in a relationship with anybody.
right.
Because I mean, why should anybody go through that? People want to live their best life. People shouldn't have to go through that with you. Like you said, it's gonna be bad days. There's bad days for everybody, so that's
absolutely.
okay. But it shouldn't be bad days just because you want to cope the way you want to cope and not the way you need to cope.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Your illness. So of course you should be able to be in a relationship, but you got to have it under control. Like me personally, I don't. And it sounds horrible, but I don't have time for your anxiety. I don't have time for you walking in a room thinking you're gonna get killed. I just, what you want me to say? Like, or you walking in somewhere or somebody's gonna, like, I have a little anxiety about crowds and parades and festivals. I don't really go to them, but I'll take my son somewhere crowded if that's a fun kid thing and that's where he want to go.
Right.
I can get over my anxiety enough to go. I'm not gonna have a panic attack. But some people can't. They can't go to a parade or a festival or somewhere where there's a lot of people, or else they will literally have a panic attack. I'm not gonna have a panic attack. I don't like it, but I'm not gonna have a panic attack.
My friend's dating, she's my age. She's dating this guy who someone else I know used to date, and he's agoraphobic, and I feel like,
which is a fear of being outside.
Yeah, like he won't really leave his town, and I feel.
And most people agoraphobic don't leave the house.
Yeah. But he just has a fear of leaving the radius of where he lives. I start to see her posts, and I can see she's getting frustrated that she wants to go to concerts, she wants to do things, and like she has no one to go with. And like
Right.
once you get older, like everyone is kind of like into their own lives, and you know, like if it was a concert I wanted to go to, I'd go with her, but I'm not into all the same music she's into. But like those are things that you kind of start doing with your partner, and she can't. Like,
and she set herself up for failure because homeboy was like that when you got
right,
with
and
him.
she kind of thought things were gonna get better, like every woman does. And I don't know, maybe she'll stick it out, you know. But who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if you're happy, I'm happy. You're good, I'm great.
Right.
So,
and the thing is too, if you're gonna get into a relationship with a person that has a phobia or has something going on that limits them, then you gotta prepare yourself for that, and you gotta prepare yourself for the fact that the person might not be working very hard to overcome it.
Right.
So they might just be kind of stuck in it and not really making any progress and not trying to. And where you want to go from that? Me personally, mental illnesses, it's just not. I know
it's in your vows.
Yeah.
Nope.
I just, addiction, whether it's gambling, shopping, drugs, I just
Thank you.
Can't.
Next.
Yeah, I just can't.
Divorced. At this age, I would.
I would date somebody divorced, but I personally think I deserve to know what happened. Some people don't want to know. I'm not that person. I want to know what happened.
Why like, you were an infidel? Bye.
And I also would want to know what if the person did something to you. What was it?
Yeah,
because
I wouldn't want to hurt you the same way.
Our life experience shape who we are. You getting cheated on might explain why sometimes you had a little.
Where you at? Where
come
you
at
going?
me a little different, right? Or what? Why you? Or maybe if even something as much as the family broke you up. How did that happen? Why did that happen? And I would really want to know. Most important thing I would want to know is what did you learn from your divorce?
Right.
What was your role? I always think somewhere along the line, maybe somebody's percentage is higher, their fault percentage is higher, but I always feel like both people somewhat contributed to it.
Right.
And like I said, maybe your fault percentage might have been higher, the other person or whoever. Maybe somebody cheated. You're like, I can't deal with it. But somewhere in that cheating, there was a breakdown somewhere. Something happened where the person, and it's not your fault. It doesn't mean it's your fault, but there was a breakdown somewhere and it didn't get handled. And the person went out and cheated. They're still wrong. They're still wrong. But, somewhere in there, something went wrong somewhere.
Sometimes people are just young and dumb and get married and then realize they grow apart. I mean, it's still a fault, but you know what I mean? Like they realize they're not the same people who they were when they met, and
and they grow apart. Yeah.
No, they kind of just grow apart. I wouldn't like. That's a stigma. I mean, my dad was divorced twice before he married my mom. My grandma did an investigation on him, but I mean, she married him anyway.
And it makes people uncomfortable if they hear that you've been divorced twice or divorced. And I notice when I'm
Valerie's like, bring it on.
That man looked like, what's this?
Serpico.
I don't give a damn how many times he's been divorced. He like Serpico on that Harley. But I notice when I'm doing demographics at work, when I'm registering people and doing demographics, people pause before they say divorce. Or like, I'm like, are you married, single? I never say married, single, or divorce. I just say married or single. Because to me, divorce means you single shit.
Right.
But I notice when I say married or single, people pause and they say, well, divorced. It's like they don't want to say it. One lady whispered it. And I was like, it's okay. It's all right. Nobody cares. But she cared. Like she felt ashamed. Why would you whisper if you don't, you know what I mean? There's some shame there if you whispering it. Because I would have been like, divorced.
My divorce.
Right. But some women be like, divorce, thank God. Some women, they make a joke out of it, but I mean, they probably not joking.
Yeah, I think I put an article up on the Bed Love Beyond page about how like people who are divorced don't want you to feel bad for them. They divorced for a reason. I think there are some women who are like very heartbroken over their divorce. I would say women more than men, maybe men too. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't met any.
I think people too sometimes hold on to the notion when my parents were married 40 years, my parents were married 30 years, and so for me the divorce is failure.
Right. Absolutely. I'm living with that person. We shall see. So yeah, I mean, it's not always like a bad thing. Sometimes like people realize that they are not good for each other and they made a conscious decision to uncouple. And thank you, Gwyneth. And that's it. I mean, and it's better because two people who don't like care for each other anymore, it's a waste of time for everybody.
I know that some people say when I'm doing demographics at work, divorce, well, single.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that divorce, well, single.
I don't even know why they ask if you were divorced. That's rude. Who cares?
Yeah, I just say married or single. I don't. They want us to ask now what gender you identify with.
Oh my God.
I look on. I just.
Is you a boy or a girl?
Right. What gender? I can't. I don't even like asking people their race because to be honest with you, some people don't fucking know. Brazilian people don't know what the. We black. We not Latin. I said, lady, I don't have time for this today. What would you like me to pick? I don't put what you want me to put. I don't have time for that. Well, we not Hispanic. We Latin. Well, we not white. Well, they didn't always have other. That's just that. Right. Now we could pick other. We couldn't always pick that. This was one of the moments we couldn't pick that. I'm like, lady, I don't have time for this.
Egyptians put white. They should put African.
Yeah,
they won't.
And then a lot of things have African American or black.
I don't like that. They have that for my job. They said black or African American. I'm like,
And then when you look on what the government considered white, it has Northern African, Egypt,
right
underneath white,
Lebanon, all them,
and that's just your skin complexion. Right. And then you see black is the other African people's other. It's some weird. I'm like, who sat down in the government and decided this is what black, white? How about y'all stop asking people their goddamn race? It's made up. What does it matter? Well, how about y'all stop asking people that? Then you wouldn't need no rules and laws and all. I'm
gonna start checking all the boxes.
Right.
Like according to 23andMe, I'm 23% African.
Right. Now at jobs, I decline to answer.
I used to decline. I haven't had to do it in a long time.
Right. I don't think y'all need to know. Well, I put female. I'll put that I'm not a veteran. I'll put that I'm not disabled. But other than that, you don't need to know nothing else. You really don't need to know if I'm a male or female, honestly. Can I do the goddamn job? Now, certain jobs maybe need you to be female, but to me, you trying to meet a quota probably. That's right. Why you know. So.
Well, we have those generic non-denominational national names. Could be anything.
But at the end of the day, once you get there, they don't want your ass there. They don't hire you no way.
Like. Abortion.
I guess when it comes to a woman dating a man, I guess it would be, has he ever asked a woman or been with a woman that got one and he was okay with it? I guess that would be him being involved with it because he doesn't have to get one, obviously. But he could say he agreed to one. I don't think, I mean, it is I know this is something else people don't want people to know, or people, I've seen somebody say it and people gasped right in her face. I was like, oh my God. I just felt bad. I didn't know what I feel bad about. I just felt bad. I'm like, why? And I know, and I just saw her face and I'm just like, why do people think it's an easy decision? Right. Even other women. I'm like, you don't think as a woman that wasn't an easy decision for her? Like, and everybody judged her. I saw it. Right. I saw everybody's eyes went up, everybody head rolled, everybody did all this, and I was just like, and I just said to her, you did what you had to do, because I mean, I just saw on the Basketball Wives, Tammy Roman said that she got an abortion on Real World. I was shocked. I never watched Real World. I think I watched few episodes here and there. I did not know she was on it. And I didn't know that she got an abortion on it.
I don't remember that. And it wasn't like an avid watcher.
But she ended up on Basketball Wives as she divorced Kenny Anderson. Yeah, Kenny Anderson. But she was telling her story, one of those shows where they just sit in front of the camera and talk. And I was just like, to do it on TV, brave. And she said she got a lot of shit for it. Damn. I mean, people just judged her, but I've seen it. I saw it happen that day when the girl said, "I got an abortion because," and I just saw everybody and I was just like, "You did what you had to do." I mean, I didn't know what else to say,
That was the nicest thing you could have said, to be honest.
Because I just picture myself in that person's shoes. I was a young girl once. The condom broke. I did me and this man wasn't in no damn love. He didn't love me. I know he didn't. I wasn't. We met in the club. He was fine. We started hanging out. I mean, and he started talking crazy like, I'll take care of my kid. I'm like, stop talking like that. I'm not pregnant. Stop. But you know, of course, all of us, you start going crazy. I never wanted my period so much in my life because it was a hot ass mess situation.
Right.
This man didn't love me. I didn't love him. It was an accident. I didn't want no kid with him. I didn't even want to be his girlfriend. We were just hanging out. I was 20 years old. I'm like, no fucking way. I said I had already decided it's and was really scary. It was like I was in the midst of getting testing to give my sister a kidney.
Oh shit.
I couldn't have done it. I was like, there's no way I would keep this baby. It's no way.
Right.
But even if I wasn't getting tested to give her a kidney, I still wouldn't. I don't want no ties to him.
Right.
He was just fine. That's all he was. Other than that, he was a jerk. He was all right, but not to be having no kids.
No.
And I was just like, oh my. And I said to myself at that moment, there's no way I can keep this kid. It's no way. I was in college. I didn't have any money. It's no way.
When I was younger, like I didn't have too many slip ups, but not that I always like thought of it as an option, but like I realized that there were some people like I shouldn't have had kids with, and like if it came down to it, and that's what I really had to do. Like, I know it sounds fucked up, but you know, being that young and having a kid, like I didn't want to put that burden on my parents or like even. Like you said, some of those people like you knew weren't going to be good parents, like
right.
or good choices. And yes, I understand. Like as adults now, we all sit there and say, "Well, you shouldn't be sleeping with them. You shouldn't be laying down with them." But the fact of the matter is that we're gonna do what we want to do, and in the heat of the moment, you don't think about those things. And fine, you should, but you don't.
And the only 100% is abstinence.
Right.
So basically, you know, either you're gonna agree to be abstinent until you married, or you're gonna take a chance. Condom, birth control, none of it's 100% except abstinence. So. And most young folks is not sitting around waiting till they 30, 28,
with their promise rings
29, 30 to get married and have sex.
Purity rings.
If you do, I mean, that's great. That's up to you. But it's also great when you go out and fuck who you want to fucking have fun.
I don't think that she be going out fucking everybody and having abortions every week or every month or whatever. I don't think that's overkill and I think it's rude. But I think if, God forbid, you're faced with that decision, I don't feel like you should be judged for it.
Not at all.
There's tons of people.
Especially when it's an early termination.
Right, absolutely.
If the baby come out crying, that's fucked up. And I done heard some stories. That's some messed up stuff. Like my sister, her first job as a nurse was at an abortion clinic. And she was like, it was awful. She was like, it was even the early termination was awful. So for me, it's like, I don't want to have one. It's not about wanting it. And that's what I think people miss too. You think the girl want to lay there and have her uterus dug out? Don't nobody want that.
I've taken Plan B before.
It's like
it's more or
you're
less
doing what you got to do. The $50 for Plan B is better than going into that situation. But it's like it was a time there wasn't no Plan B.
Right.
Like, and it's like people treat abortion like women want to lay there and go through that.
Right.
And I think the percentage is very low of women who treat abortions like birth control.
No, I
think the percentage of nobody wants that. No woman wants to sit there and have that happen. So and the women, I know a few women that have. I don't know anybody who's had more than one. If they did, I mean, they didn't say anything. But women, I mean, they're pretty honest people. They probably would have said, like, I've had 3. But I think they would have said, I've had 3. I have 2. But
I mean, sometimes women have to have them if they find out, like,
you have to do
in the
what
first
you have to
trimester
do.
that, like, you know, the baby's not developing right or something. You know, sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes it's what has to happen.
Yeah, and
like they talk about the whole thing with women getting abortions now, and like, I don't know.
The fact that the government's still debating about whether
it's their choice or not,
legal, whether it should be legal or not. And it's like, I understand y'all already have late term pregnancy abortions is illegal. Like, I think if it's past a certain amount of weeks where the baby actually has lungs and shit and a heartbeat and all that. But I get it. I get that that's not legal. But
if they told you that, you know, this child is missing a heart or, I mean, it wouldn't be alive, but missing something or whatever, you know, and I don't know. Like, I would say it would be a really hard decision.
And they want to make that part of the law, like if it's a medical, if the baby's having some medical problem,
Right.
that you should be able to. You shouldn't tell me what I should be able to do.
Right.
Now I get that I shouldn't go lay in no clinic and about to kill my goddamn self with no 6-month baby talking about some abortion.
Right.
Because you can bleed to death at that point. So I get that being illegal.
Right.
I get that's illegal. But like, you know, even 5 months, you know, the gender and all that, you know, okay, that I get late term.
Right.
Because you about to bleed to death and shit, and the baby come out crying and shit. That's, you know, that's going too far. But like, I mean, you know, a late term, I mean,
but they can do all that genetic testing like pretty much from the door, right?
some of it you got to be a certain amount of weeks, and they have to test the amniotic fluid and all that
Right.
stuff. So you got to be a certain amount of weeks. But sometimes they tell you 50-50 and the kid come out fine. But I think it should be, because I read an article about a woman that said they told her it was a good chance her kid was gonna have all these problems. Kid did have all the problems. The baby died.
Right.
And they said, you know, you should abort the baby because all these things are going to be wrong with it. And she said all those things were wrong with it. And the baby didn't make it. And it was awful because the baby just, I guess, not died a slow death, but, you know, it had a
Right.
whole lot of stuff going on and they really couldn't save it. And it just suffered. The baby suffered until it died.
I don't know what's worse, to watch the baby suffer or to just do
Right.
it. It's a terrible decision.
So it's like, you know, but I don't think lawmakers and men, because that's who, I mean, now this year in Congress and all that, there's more women senators and stuff like that. But for a long time, it's been men sitting up in there deciding what a woman, you don't even know what an abortion is. You don't even know what a period is. Y'all don't know nothing. And they sitting up in Congress and in the Senate talking about what women should be able to do. And that's ridiculous. That is and it's still majority men, senators and congressmen in the House of Representatives. It's still majority men. And these men should not sit up here and get to vote on a woman's body. That's ridiculous. Like, women are not, a whole bunch of women ain't sitting around voting if men should get vasectomies or not.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
There was a meme I put up once. It was like a bunch of dogs, and it was like, "We're here to talk about cats' healthcare." It's like, exactly. Like, y'all don't know about what's going on with us. Like,
And the fact that certain doctors in Catholic hospitals is making your husband sign for you to get your tubes tied, but your husband don't have to sign for you to get an abortion. But your husband don't have to sign for you to get an emergency hysterectomy. So why my husband got to sign for me to get my tubes tied? My husband is not the one that has to push the baby out. Get the fuck out of here. Like, and then they're telling people it's the law. It's not the law. It's not the
research
law.
this.
Yeah, I sure doubt it. It's not the law that your husband. If you go to a Catholic hospital, it's still not the law. It's that hospital.
Was Hackensack Catholic?
No, it's that hospital's rule because it's a Catholic hospital.
Right.
But other than that, it's not the law that their husband got to sign for you to get shit.
That's super antiquated.
It's your body.
What if you're a lesbian?
One husband, I saw a forum. One husband put, "I'm not signing anything for my wife. My wife made the decision about what she want to do with her body, and I'm not signing nothing." And I said, "Good for him, girl. Glad you get him a nice anniversary gift." he told the doctor he not signing nothing. If my wife wants it, that's what she want. These men don't have to have these kids. Are you kidding me?
All right. Obese. We are not in the best shape.
No, but I don't think we not like. When I say obese, I don't mean you 30 pounds overweight. I'm talking about my 600-pound life.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm talking about. Not when you 30, 40 pounds overweight.
Like, I typically dated slimmer dudes. Like, going through my roster. And then most recently I haven't. My past couple of boyfriends. And I think the only problem I ever found was, like, that... Like, it just came to a point of, like, whether or not... How much you care about your own health. Like, that was my turn-off thing. Like, I don't care if you're big. Like, if you're trying, you know?
Right. Like, you're aware of...
You're aware of it. Because at the end of the day,
healthy.
it's like... I just read some article on Facebook that some 18-year-old girl died of a heart attack. And she was skinny as shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
because you can still be skinny with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes.
I'm with you to have a life with you. And I want you to be here as long as possible. And I want to be here with you as long as possible. So I'm going to do what it takes to do that. And I want you to do the same.
Yeah.
But when you start saying like, fuck it, I don't care, like I'm just gonna do this, do that, like then that starts to become kind of like a turn off. Like I'm not like, I'm still attracted to you as the person, but when you start like not giving a shit about it, then it's kind of like,
Because as an adult, your health and stuff should be just as important as you're paying your bills. Being a responsible adult is being partly being healthy.
Right.
Going for physicals, getting a normal amount of exercise. Not you don't have to jog or run and necessarily go to the gym, but like being active, leading an active lifestyle is part of being a responsible adult. And it doesn't mean that you can't chill on your couch or whatever, but I mean, having an active lifestyle is part of being, part of health and wellness.
And some people are big and they're healthy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine. Just,
I've dated guys that some people, like, they consider themselves fat. I consider them like, you a big dude, but they were like active. They just sit around the house eating Big Macs. Like, right. But they were like hefty dudes, and they could have stood to lose weight. But I feel like, they were like, fat and fly, you know what I mean? Like they had swag,
No, I hear what you're saying.
But they were like, they had swag to them, but they did need to lose weight. Generally they were tall, so they were kind of proportioned, but they still needed to lose weight. And they, being young, you kind of don't, but you talk about it, but it's not, it doesn't matter. But like as you get older, that stuff matters because you will start having problems. Your body doesn't respond to certain foods and fatty foods and greasy foods like it used to, and you will start having problems. So,
but yeah, I mean, my 600-pound life, Gilbert Grape's mom, probably not my thing. But if it's your thing, it's your thing. I mean, but the stigma of it is that people do sometimes stare and
and you
judge.
Might be enabling. It's like I said, my 600-pound lifestyle be people, they're frying up a whole pack of bacon for one person. Like they bring in the person McDonald's, like,
Live with your parents. Live with their parents.
I think it's only it sounds shameful when you meet somebody, and this is of course an age appropriate thing, age specific, because obviously you're dating and you're 19 or 20. It's gonna be different than your 35, 40. But like it's different situations. Some people rent their parents' downstairs apartment or basement apartment, or like they're contributing to the household.
Right.
I think that's different than you just living with your parents and said fuck it.
Some people's parents are elderly and they take care of them and stuff like that.
I think it's more so, this is more so you just live with your parents and don't do shit. Don't pay shit, don't take care of shit. And you're not necessarily in a situation where your parents have room for you. You just kind of in your old bedroom on your Batman sheets on your twin bed. Like, your parents could make that their office or their den, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it's kind of that situation. Like, you still in your childhood room with your goddamn New Kids on the Block posters. That's a different story.
I'm making a comeback. It's not for me. And the last one is no car. I've done it before, dating a guy with no car.
Obviously, we're not talking about if you live in New York City and Uber and taxi and subway everywhere.
You know what? I wish there was Uber back then because it would save me a lot of trips to the bus stop and the train stop at 2:00 in the morning.
So we're talking about we live in Jersey. Wherever you live,
you need a car.
I mean, besides, like, if you live somewhere, everybody just hop on the train, something like New York City or London or wherever you are. A lot of people, you live somewhere, there's not a lot of parking. It's just congested, a big congested city. I get it, but we live in the suburbs. Nah, son. I don't care if you got a 1976 Cadillac, as long as I don't have to.
A Datsun.
Right? I don't care what you have. It's not even about what kind of car. As long as that shit run and I don't have to pick you up and drop you off. I've been in the situation. I was dating a Peruvian guy. I thought he was so cute. But that goddamn picking his ass up and dropping him off, that made him less and less cute. Every time I had to leave my goddamn house to take him home. I'm like, if you don't get a damn car, ain't nobody got time for this. And we live in the suburbs. There's buses, but I mean, you might be out there waiting for a while. This is, so it's like, I ain't dating nobody with a car. If you just happen to not have a car for a moment because you had some issues, your car broke down, but you on your way to another one. I mean,
Work
you
it
know.
out.
But if you just don't have no car, don't plan on getting one, don't have a driver's license, you just not.
That was the worst part, because a lot of guys in New York City don't even have a driver's license.
Yep.
Like, Brooklyn didn't have a driver's license, so it was like, it's not even like after I drove all the way to the bus stop, like he could have drove home, or if we went anywhere, he could have drove. Like,
you gotta stay up, sleepy as hell,
stay scrubbing in the passenger side. Like, no,
nah,
no, never again, never again. So, what is your stigmas? Like, what are things that you are kind of like, I wouldn't date somebody like that, or if you saw someone dating someone of that nature, what would you judge them on? Do we have anything else?
Definitely. Actually, well, it's not a mark of shame based on society, but I don't like super judgy people. Religious, we just wouldn't make it. But religion is not looked at as a good thing, kind of. But to me, that's a deal breaker. I'm not religious. I curse. I say vulgar things. I will offend you in your religion some kind of way. So I wouldn't date anybody religious. I mean, if you spiritual or you follow a religion, to me, it's different than religious.
Like, I think we talked about last episode, like when I dated the Muslim dude, like, I'm fine not eating bacon around you, or he didn't really care. But, like, I'm not fasting with you. And, like, the thing, like, I think I asked him once, like, if we were to have a family, I don't know why I asked him that. But I'm like, would you put up a Christmas tree with the kids? And he was like, no. I'm like, but you want Christmas gifts. The fuck? And I was just like,
and some people mad hypocritical with it too. That's like religion can get really, like, I feel like there's people that'll go to like the Catholic Church, light a candle, Ash Wednesday, they'll get the cross on their forehead, but they not like so
right.
They're not religious. They follow a religion, but they're not religious.
Right.
And that's okay for me. When people kind of casual about it, that might be the right word, but some people follow a religion without being religious. But religious, it's just not. If you're religious, we're not gonna get along.
Listen, I'm Catholic, and we're the biggest bunch of hypocrites. The Catholic Church wanted an apology from Pete Davidson. Why? Because he's being funny? Shut the fuck up. Sit down.
No.
I commented on something. I was like, as a Catholic, the Catholic Church needs to have a seat. I got like 120 likes. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I've just spoken for the Catholic people. Yes.
But yeah, that's one of my things. I just can't. We just not gonna. And some people are very like liberal, open-minded religious people, like new religious people
like
can be a little open-minded.
Jewish and Christians are really hard to mix and mingle. Like some people manage to do it, like we'll celebrate Hanukkah and we'll celebrate Christmas.
Right.
But, like family-wise, when you have the old school family, like.
Yeah, or somebody's really into the rituals.
Brooklyn Babylon, check it out.
And I think too, parents have a big impression on,
right,
well, this is what we do and they don't do it, and you really should be with somebody who understands and does it.
And that's why there's Christian Mingle and JD. I mean,
but yeah, definitely religion would be something that I don't. That's a no for me.
Well, we've talked your ear off for almost 2 hours, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
But we do skip a week, so
yeah,
we're giving you an hour for the week we skipped.
There you
that
go.
You didn't get to hear our lovely voices,
so you can listen to half now, half next week. You'll be caught up by the time we're ready to come back to you. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, so you can write to us at bedlovebeyond@gmail.com. We're at 973-823-8bed, or is it 201-823-bed? God damn it, I don't know our number. Anyway. And we're at Bed Love Beyond everywhere. April's at Miss April Speaks, and I'm at, well, you can find me. I think I've tagged myself in things. And if you have something that you want to discuss, please write to us. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Podbean, Google Play, we're everywhere. Just subscribe to us, like us, and rate us. And I think that's it. Peace.